This is the legendary tale of how darkness cannot snuff out the light. The tale of Fyore, the kind mage. Now, where were we? Yes, Chapter 7, Falkreath and Perfect Companions. Fyore arrives at Falkreath on hired carriage as his body is vibrating with fearful adrenaline and curiosity regarding his now remembered abduction by the necromancer. The city of Falkreath is quaint, yet in far nicer condition than Winterhold. Fyore disembarks the carriage and silently rejoices to himself that the air is so much warmer here compared to Winterhold. Perhaps this climate will be good for my aching and aging bones, says Fyore to himself as he scans the lively city. Fyore takes several deep breaths and reminds himself to choose bravery and begins walking through Falkreath in search of clues regarding his forgotten years as a mindless thrall. I ought to head to the local inn and rent a room. Perhaps a steward can give me insights or someone here might recognize my face, says Fyore as he continues strolling through town. Fyore quickly finds Dead Man's Drink, the local tavern and inn, and approaches the owner, Volga. Hello there. I was hoping to rent a room for a few nights. Do you have anything available? Asked Fyore. I do, replies Volga as she suspiciously inspects Fyore. What brings you to Falkreath? Asks Volga. Well, actually, I'm traveling from Winterhold in hopes of, yeah, I can guess why you are here, Volga replies as she rudely interrupts Fyore. You're just like the rest of them. You're here for the pretty ladies who work the tavern. I promise you this. You touch any of them, and I will have your hands severed from that old body of yours. Oh no, I can assure you that, listen old man, you can save your pervy intentions for someone who cares. Your room is on the left, replies Volga as she rudely interrupts Fyore once more. As Fyore is left speechless by Volga's inhospitable nature, suddenly a young-looking Khajiit wearing tattered clothes approaches Fyore, who is still standing at the front desk. Hello, sir. Please excuse Volga, she is rather unpleasant to outsiders. If you are in need of light-hearted company, I am happy to welcome you to Falkreath. It's nothing like the City of Solitude, but it's still a good city, says the young yet rather tall Khajiit. Why, thank you, that's very kind. What is your name? Asks Fyore as he shifts his attention away from Volga and faces the Khajiit. Jatabe is my name. Well, Jatabe, would you like to join me for a meal? Asks Fyore. Wow, really? That would be great, says Jatabe excitedly. As Fyore and Jatabe sit at a table, they swap stories for hours and often erupt in laughter, an expression that has been a stranger to Fyore. You know, you don't speak like most Khajiit I've met. Your accent is more similar to that of a Nord, says Fyore. It's true. I was orphaned at a young age and have lived among Nords all my life, replied Jatabe. As the two became more acquainted with one another, Fyore learned that not only is Jatabe an orphan, but he is also homeless and often finds odd jobs around town just to pay off his deceased parents' debt. It's been rough, but I make it through, says Jatabe. Fyore, moved by compassion, reaches into his pockets and hands Jatabe a sack of gold and says, I want you to take this and pay off your parents' debts. No child should be burdened beyond the grief of a deceased parent. Jatabe sat in silence. Well, go on then, liberate yourself, and go enjoy your youth, says Fyore. Why would you do this?" asked Jatabe reluctantly. "I once was swallowed by darkness, on the brink of ending it all, until I met a kind soul who pulled me out of the darkness and back towards the light. I swore to do the same for others, and I would hate for you to slave away during your youth," Fyore replies as he stands up from the table. "Now go free yourself and enjoy your new life," says Fyore as he walks towards the exit of the inn. "Wait!" screams Jatabe as he rushes to the door where Fyore now stands. "Please take me with you. I am good with the blade and can be of service to you on your travels." "I could never ask that of you, for if my past travels are any indication of what the future holds, I can assure you it would be unfair to place that burden on you," says Fyore. "I beg you, take me. I have no one here in the city to call my own, and I can prove my worth as your blade. Please." "I know what I'm asking," replies Jatabe. Fyore pauses for a moment and remembers Dager's advice before he left Winterhold. Do not travel alone. Fyore draws in a deep breath and says, "Very well, but I want to be clear that you owe me nothing for paying your debts, and if you choose to travel with me, it is not as a bondservant, but rather as friends. Am I clear?" "Yes," replies Jatabe. "Very well. Now if you are to be of usefulness to me in combat, we ought to go get you fitted in some armor, as well as acquire a new blade. Can't have you being defenseless out in the wilds of Skyrim," says Fyore. Fyore and Jatabe leave the inn and head towards Grey Pine Goods, the local trader, to have Jatabe fitted. "Do you prefer light armor or heavy armor?" asks Fyore. "Well, truthfully, I've never worn any armor before," replies Jatabe. Why don't we try a mixture of both for now until you find a preference," says Fyore as he purchases a full set of armor, including an iron chestplate, a pair of hide bracers and boots, a light apprentice hood, a cape, as well as an iron sword. "Here, put these on," said Fyore as he handed Jatabe the new equipment. "I would prefer you to have a heavy chest piece to protect your vitals for now, and as you grow in strength, we can upgrade to all heavy armor if you so choose." Jatabe smiled to himself as he equipped the new armors and the blade, as this was the first time he has ever felt wanted and cherished by a human, specifically a Nord. Fyore paid the owner and then led Jatabe outside. "We should try this new gear out," says Jatabe. "Are you ready for that?" asks Fyore. Jatabe smiles and says, "I am more capable than you think." Fyore laughs and says, "Very well. Let's head to the quest board and earn some gold as you show me your new skills." As they both headed to the city's quest board, a young maiden stopped Fyore and asked him, "Are you related to that famous traveling bard named Geppo?" Fyore pauses and says, "That name sounds familiar, but no, I don't believe I am. Although I have suffered a form of amnesia, so it's hard to know how to properly answer that question." "I see," said the maiden. "Well, you look like an older version of Geppo, just with less hair and more gray." "Can you tell me more about him?" asked Fyore. "Well, last I saw him was about 4 years ago. He was a young Nord and had long dark hair and could play the lute like none other," said the maiden. "I see," replied Fyore as he thought to himself. "I wish I could give you a proper answer, but as far as I know, I do not have any living kin left." "No worries, mister. Thanks for your time. Have a great day," said the maiden as she walked away, humming to herself. As the young woman left, Jatabe turned and faced Fyore and asked, "How did you get amnesia?" Fyore pauses and says, It's a long story. I'll have to fill you in later. But for now, let's go test your skills. Fyore reads over the various tasks on the quest board in town and chooses an easy task of clearing out a local cave of some pesky cave spiders, something uneventful to scale Jatabe's capabilities. Fyore looks at Jatabe and asks, "Have you ever seen Skyrim's cave spiders?" "Once outside of Falkreath, yes," replied Jatabe. "Good. We are going to clear out a den of them and then report to the Jarl to collect a small reward," said Fyore. Fyore and Jatabe together headed out of town and towards the cave on their very first quest together to test their combat synchronization.